Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Claire delivers a harsh reality check that hits hard, and Kyle's obsession backfires. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Kyle Abbott keeps ignoring the counsel of both people who care about him and those who don't. Kyle is blind to the fact that he is pushing Claire Newman too hard, even if Audra Charles can see it. Two doubts were raised when he flew to Los Angeles, California, to deliver flowers he chose at Chancellor Park to Claire. In one of YNR's most exquisite settings, did Kyle purchase those flowers from a licensed vendor? Or did he release them from the park named for GC's grande dame, Catherine Chancellor, since he was drunk on the idea of giving Claire her favorite flowers in LA? Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott provide valuable guidance. Kyle resides with his parents. However, that has nothing to do with his lack of ambition to own a home or his financial troubles. It is an achievement to have a close relationship with his parents, even if his mother was believed dead for the majority of his early years. Devoted viewers remember that Kyle stayed with Victor Newman during a time in his early adulthood when he broke away from his father. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Kyle Abbott keeps ignoring the counsel of both people who care about him and those who don't. Kyle is blind to the fact that he is pushing Claire Newman too hard, even if Audra Charles can see it. Two doubts were raised when he flew to Los Angeles, California, to deliver flowers he chose at Chancellor Park to Claire. In one of YNR's most exquisite settings, did Kyle purchase those flowers from a licensed vendor? Or did he release them from the park named for GC's grande dame, Catherine Chancellor, since he was drunk on the idea of giving Claire her favorite flowers in LA? Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott provide valuable guidance. Kyle resides with his parents. However, that has nothing to do with his lack of ambition to own a home or his financial troubles. It is an achievement to have a close relationship with his parents, even if his mother was believed dead for the majority of his early years. Devoted viewers remember that Kyle stayed with Victor Newman during a time in his early adulthood when he broke away from his father. Wednesday, October 15th, YNR spoilers. Claire's getaway incident, Sharon and Nick's unsettling news. See the story. Despite the nostalgic moments, Kyle appreciates his parents' opinions. It's not that he disagrees with their recommendations. He simply cannot comprehend that Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott warned him not to follow Claire to the West Coast because he is ensnared by the erroneous belief that she is someone who requires his protection. However, he did, and it was yet another poor decision. A romantic contrast is created by Holden Novak. It was unexpected that Claire fled rashly to California, where she was having fun with Holden Novak. She no longer views him as a confidant, but rather as a potential replacement for Kyle. That is the purpose of Holden's sightseeing trip of Los Angeles. He is currently the anti-Kyle. However, Novak's persona has secrets that he hasn't disclosed, as Claire witnessed. Claire might not be interested in Holden's background, including what transpired with Audra. She'll probably hold him to the same standards that she holds Kyle to. Claire's life with Jordan Howard has caused her to struggle with trust. Holden has a good chance at replacing Kyle if he is honest with her. Claire Newman requires room. Kyle overloaded Claire's emotions. She couldn't be anywhere in GC and not worry that he would locate him. She would keep telling him what she wanted, but he would not alter his plan. So, desperate, she ran away. Sending a message to Kyle was another reason for accepting Holden's opportunistic offer. Kyle would eventually come to the realization that Holden might make him appear good if he gives Claire the space she has asked for. Since she is an adult, Claire is free to decide for herself whether or not to resume her first relationship. Nathan Owens, actor of The Young and the Restless, examines Holden's history with Sienna. Now that Nathan Owens's character Holden Novak is returning to his former home of Los Angeles, viewers of The Young and the Restless may begin to learn more about the mysterious character. The actor is giving fans a preview of what to expect. continued to watch The Young and the Restless with Holden. Haley Aaron, Tamara Braun, and Nathan Owens on The Young and the Restless. Owens gave a taste of what viewers may anticipate now that Holden is spending time in Los Angeles with Claire and his old friend Sienna in an interview with Soap Opera Digest. Holden's past does come back to haunt him, Owens said. Paths are crossed unexpectedly, which puts Holden in a sticky situation. Future episodes will reveal more about Holden and Sienna's past, but Owens is excited to be collaborating with Braun. He finds her charm to be quite delightful and says she provides an unusual vibe to the set. The two actors were not on the same show at the same time, although they have appeared on the same show before. In 2012, Owens portrayed Cameron on Days. Neither Ava Vitale nor Taylor Walker, the role she played at the time, had Braun on the show. According to Owens, they have acquaintances from their separate Salem eras. 3 is too many. On The Young and the Restless, Audra might stand in Claire and Holden's way. Given that Sienna seems to be purposefully misremembering Audra Charles's name as Audrey, we can assume that she's aware of her and may not have the best feelings for her. Naturally, Nathan is very worried about whatever transpired between him and Audra in Los Angeles. The two characters have alluded to this secret in Genoa City. Nathan is well aware that Audra can be with individuals she doesn't like, even though Audra recently shown Nate a vulnerable side. Holden does not want Audra to sabotage his growing relationship with Claire, who appears to want Kyle to keep a wide distance. It is cool because I'm also finding out as well as we go along, Owens says. The Abbott family of Genoa City has been one of the main dynasties of The Young and the Restless for many years. They are equal parts strong, fervent, and constantly upsetting. Their son, Kyle Abbott, has grown into a man who is still looking for his own moral compass despite Jack and Diane Jenkins Abbott having survived the kind of emotional storms that could rock any family to its foundation. For a long time, Kyle has been caught between his mother's instinctual emotion and his father's loyalty-driven rationalism. He is charming, driven, and incredibly amorous, but he also has a reckless streak that frequently results in self-destruction. Additionally, Kyle's judgments are degenerating into dangerous obsession as a result of his unraveling infatuation on Claire Newman, Haley Aaron. His interest in Claire first appeared to be admirable, a bond between two heartless souls looking for atonement following emotional turmoil. Kyle's compassion and understanding provided solace to Claire, a lady whose identity has been damaged by her relationship with Jordan Howard. However, attraction led to fixation and empathy to fascination. The boundaries became hazy somewhere between their mutual fragility and Kyle's developing desire to save her. Here, in this emotional haze, Kyle's demise started to take shape. When well-meant intentions become toxic, with only a bouquet of flowers and a misplaced faith, Kyle decided to take a plane from Genoa City to Los Angeles as a great romantic gesture. It represented devotion in his mind, a concrete indication that he would do whatever it took to show his love. However, it seemed desperate and overreaching to everyone else, even Claire. A poetic layer of irony is added by the fact that the flowers might have been picked from Chancellor Park, which is named after the late, cherished Catherine Chancellor. Chancellor Park has long stood for introspection, tradition, and moderation. Kyle unintentionally violated the symbolism of the location that represented self-control by stealing flowers from it. His impetuous action, motivated more by fixation than by purpose, precisely captured his mental state. He failed to recognize that Claire needed space, not to be saved. And rather than listening to her, Kyle used his own personal story to overpower her cries. Audra Charles, too, one of Genoa City's most sophisticated social strategists, saw, through Kyle's pointless quest, the same overcompensation that had once misled Audra. A woman who thrives on identifying people's weaknesses was evident in Kyle. She gave him a stern warning that his zeal was alienating Claire instead of attracting her. However, unyielding as ever, Kyle brushed the observation aside, oblivious to the fallacy that perseverance equates to passion. The parental mirror, ignoring Diane and Jack's wisdom. From the sidelines, Jack and Diane Abbott could see what was written on the wall. Both parents were aware of the subtle symptoms of emotional collapse, having experienced decades of heartache, deceit, and second chances. A man of methodical contemplation, Jack saw the need to mend broken things, particularly people. He has dedicated his life to saving the people he cares about, frequently at considerable personal expense. He saw the same pattern in Kyle's actions, the savior syndrome, derived from the pride and guilt of the Abbott family. Conversely, Diane contributed her maternal instincts. She had a new perspective on identity and obsession after being raised from what was thought to be death. She was aware of how simple it is to lose oneself when pursuing acceptance or love. "Let Claire breathe," she told Kyle, gently but firmly. However, Kyle felt trapped because he had just started to re-establish a solid relationship with his parents. Their concern was interpreted by him as condescending. The precise advice that may have grounded him was rejected by his wounded and raw pride. This defiance has a tragic poetry to it. Kyle staying under his parents' roof due to emotional regression rather than financial need. On the surface, his life seems ideal, successful, attractive, and a member of a family with a long history. Beneath the shine, however, is a guy who is having difficulty defining himself apart from the Abbott's shadow. And without realizing it, Claire ended up being the blank canvas on which he attempted to paint his freedom. Claire Newman's internal conflict. Claire Newman was battling her own issues while Kyle was descending into emotional turmoil. She was fragile, broken, and unsure of whom to trust because of her past with Jordan Howard. Her return to Genoa City life was intended to represent a fresh start, a reclaiming of one's identity. However, the specters of manipulation persisted. Claire made the decision to move to Los Angeles out of survival, not out of impulsive defiance. She required separation, not only from Kyle's intense love, but also from everyone's emotional scrutiny because they saw her as a helpless person who needed to be saved. The City of Angels stood for liberty, privacy, and rebirth. Claire was at last able to relax away from the rumors and emotional entanglements of Genoa City. Holden Novak Nathan Owens, who unintentionally became Kyle's love opposite, invaded that breathing area. Kyle's impetuosity stood in stark contrast to Holden's composed, self-contained energy. He was stability wrapped in charm for Claire. Holden provided quiet interest where Kyle crowded her with devotion. Their tour of Los Angeles was about rediscovering herself free from the burden of expectations, not about falling in love at first sight. The unpredictable wild card, Holden Novak. The young and the restless already complex web of ties, gains, and electrifying undercurrent with Holden Novak's abrupt appearance in Claire's story. Holden, who is portrayed by Nathan Owens with mysterious accuracy, is a man whose past seems to be whispering trouble, even in quiet. He produces a remarkable contrast. Holden's intentions are shrouded in uncertainty, in contrast to Kyle's clear intentions. Although his charisma seems natural, there are secrets in his eyes. The connection between him and Claire when they started their brief encounter in Los Angeles was immediate but cautious. Two people attracted to each other's harm while feigning wholeness. Owens has hinted in interviews that Holden's past comes back to haunt him, especially because of his connections to Sienna, Tamara Braun, and Audra Charles. A powder keg situation is created by this impending revelation. Holden's romantic potential with Claire could end abruptly if his secrets come to light again. Holden's capacity to listen and be present without attempting to fix Claire, however, is exactly what she has been longing for. Holden feels like autonomy wrapped in charm to a woman like Claire, whose agency was taken away by Jordan's machinations and Kyle's overzealous protectiveness. But even this tranquility is under jeopardy. Despite the brightness of the LA sun, both of them are followed by extended shadows. Audra Charles, the instigator of chaos. No Genoa City plot would be complete without Audra Charles in some way lingering on the periphery, poised to use knowledge to her advantage. She adds an element of unpredictability with her complicated involvement with both Holden and Kyle. Audra has always been a brilliant strategist who has used cunning, deception, and seduction to gain control. Her connection with Holden is still a mystery, and spectators are only given glimpses of it through sly glances and covert discussions. Whatever transpired between them in Los Angeles obviously caused hurt, and now that Claire's involved, past rivalries and fires could rekindle. Audra's moral development along this arc is what makes her so intriguing. She is not only a villain, she is also calculating and reflective. In a perverse way, her warning to Kyle about his treatment of Claire wasn't self-serving. Rather, it was real. Maybe it's because she recognizes herself in Kyle and Claire, a lost person clinging to an impossible ideal. However, whatever tenuous balance currently exists in Los Angeles might be easily upset by her past with Holden and her hostility with Sienna. We may be on the verge of a collision course that reveals the secrets of all of these people if Audra's bitterness grows and Sienna's return to Holden's orbit arouses envy. Holden's past ghost, Sienna. Arriving like a ghost from another life, Sienna, Tamara Braun, is enigmatic, seductive, and just dangerous enough to break the peace Holden is attempting to create. Her relationship with Holden, which is still mainly kept under wraps, suggests betrayal and unresolved emotional issues. Her acquaintance with Audra is the most intriguing aspect. Their exchanges, which are full of nuanced jabs and purposeful mispronouncings, Audrey, suggest a rivalry that existed before their current involvement. Such rivalries rarely remain dormant for very long in the tradition of the young and the restless. Claire's brittle trust might be destroyed if Sienna reveals Holden's previous transgressions or the truth about what actually transpired in Los Angeles. Additionally, Holden's carefully constructed image will fall apart if Audra chooses to take use of that same information. A fundamental reality is at the core of this. Nobody in this plot is innocent. Everybody's past clouds their present, and in Genoa City, love is always accompanied by unintended consequences. Claire's shocking realism. Claire's awareness that independence is about emotional boundaries as much as physical distance serves as the emotional culmination of this arc. She has been forced to face a hard reality as a result of Kyle's unrelenting pursuit. Even pure love may occasionally become smothering. Clarity, rather than malice, is the source of her harsh reality check. At last, Claire reveals to Kyle what he has been ignoring, that his conception of love feels like dominance. It feels more like erasure than support when he feels the need to protect her. Claire draws a line in a potent moment of self-awareness. She is now a woman recreating herself on her own terms, not the broken girl in need of saving. Saying no to Kyle turns into her proclamation of autonomy. In the end, this emotional barrier dispels Kyle's delusion. His pride is shattered by the rejection, which makes him confront his own reliance on being needed. Naturally, the irony is that his atonement also serves as his downfall. He only starts to see what true love requires: trust, patience, and space after he loses control. The repercussions: Kyle's introspection. In quiet moments back in Genoa City, Kyle's emotional breakdown unfolds. Just the weight of silence, no big breakdowns, no dramatic conflicts. Despite their relief that their son has finally come home, Jack and Diane are unable to hide their worry. Although Kyle's eyes convey a different message, his pride prevents him from acknowledging defeat. The gloomy expression of a man who has seen a glimpse of his own shortcomings has taken the place of the youthful defiance. He starts to doubt everything, including his identity, his decisions, and his motivations. Did he really love Claire, or was he just infatuated with the prospect of saving her? Though it's not an easy solution, obsession starts to give way to introspection. Resilience has always been a hallmark of the Abbott family, and Kyle's next story will probably continue that tradition. He may eventually enter emotional adulthood as a result of his quest for self-awareness, which is a long overdue development for a character who is frequently caught between inherited responsibility and boyish impulsivity. The bigger picture: redemption, love, and control. The emotional realism that lies beneath the dramatization is what really draws readers into this plot, not simply the romance or the intrigue. When examining how love can turn into control, how protection can turn into possession, and how redemption frequently necessitates loss, The Young and the Restless shines. The enduring soap opera theme, that desire without moderation leads to ruin, is reflected in Kyle's storyline. Claire's development is a symbol of the new voice for independence, which rejects the antiquated notion that women need to be saved in order to be complete. Holden, Audra, and Sienna each represent distinct aspects of human fear and desire, adding richness to this emotional tapestry. They serve as a mirror for Genoa City as a whole, a city where beauty and treachery coexist and where second chances may be both a blessing and a burden. Conclusion: the strength of letting go and the cost of obsession. Kyle's obsession backfires. Claire's harsh reality, check hits hard, is a study on emotional overreach more than just another love triangle. Even in a world of affluence and heritage, the heart is still the most dangerous battlefield, as The Young and the Restless reminds viewers with its nuanced writing and powerful performances. Kyle's demise is heartbreaking, yet essential. Although painful, Claire's freedom is freeing. Furthermore, Holden's secrets guarantee that the city of glitter and ghosts will never truly be at peace. Ultimately, Kyle's tale becomes a universal reality. Where control exists, love cannot thrive. Walking away is sometimes the bravest thing one can do for love.